Yeah. Well, hello there, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Johnny Davis Live. Just always enjoying my theme music there on this Friday, December 3rd, 21. Guys, we're excited about a great show today. We're going to be chatting with a couple of our ICAP PKP promoters, their champions, their instructors, their trainers. I mean, they do it all. I mean, they are really about it. They're real men with real lives, with real families and everything. And I think that you're going to enjoy this conversation, guys. You know me, Johnny Davis Live, always real talk with real solutions, guys. We're going to really get into it today. Before, let me take care of a little bit of other business there. As you well know, we have coming up the ICAF Georgia Classic. It is going to be a lot of fun. We're inviting everyone to try to come out to this event. Right, in January 14th through the 16th, it's going to be in the Columbus, Georgia, at the Columbus, Georgia Convention Center. It's going to be a lot of fun, men, women, and children. The PKB tournament going on, as well as the full contact fights that are going on in the evening on that Saturday night and that Sunday. So listen, we are not trying to anticipate some huge, gigantic event. What we're trying to do is just have a great event so that, you know, people can come out and support, enjoy our sport. So we're asking you to go ahead and register right now. Go to akpromotions.org and you will see the registration that you can get your men, women, children, or whomever, even seniors. I think there might be some seniors divisions there available. But go ahead and get registered, guys. A lot of information. There's going to be a great tournament, great championship belts, and all of that. All right, guys. We're also going to be talking with Mr. Nelson Lebron a little bit later on in the show. I see that he did eventually get on. I hear him talking in the background as well, trying to quieten him down a little bit. But we'll be chatting with him a little bit as well. And at the very end, we're going to talk a little bit about the movie Bruised, that so many people have been talking about and have so many opinions. I just can't understand why in the world people can't see what the woman was trying to do with the movie. Right? I love the movie, right? But we're going to talk about it a bit later on, guys. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and bring up our next guest. Let's see, he's somewhere there waiting in the lobby. Let's go ahead and bring up the one and the only Ignacio Zambrano. How are you, sir?
Great this morning.
Good. Now, I got to make sure that we have a good connection there with you. You're kind of breaking up just a little bit. Are you good?
I hear you perfect and clear.
Yeah, okay, right. So we have to probably keep you a little bit closer there on the phone, to the phone of your device there, and all, because it kind of breaks up just a little bit. But anyway, you know, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing excellent. I'm feeling really blessed. I'm very, very happy in the path I'm taking and joining this great organization. You guys are on top of everything, and I feel like helping coming on is. I mean, what else can I do? I mean, you guys handle everything already. Yeah.
Right. Well, we're certainly glad to have you on, because I think that you will be an asset to our events and everything as well. You might want to pull the camera down a little bit so my writing won't be all in your face. There you go. Listen, I want you to just chat a little bit. Tell me a little bit about you know, your club and everything, your gym as it is right now.
Legacy, it's been around since 2015. I took over 2.5 years ago. We're doing great. Everything's building back up. The fight team's getting out there. Because of the pandemic, we you know, we got some setbacks. We were all ready to go out there and compete in PKBs and amateur fights. But that's actually came as a blessing, because now I get to they got to work harder, more at their skills, and you know, they've been hot. They've been going out there. They've been explaining, go out to compete in PKBs. I preach on them sparring, flowing, because we're not out there to destroy or hitting someone or kill someone, because that's very damaging. Especially, you know, everyone expect to go very light. The other guy's not going hard, and so I just have them either way. Keep it fair, even if those guys are hitting you hard. Just keep it fair. We're gonna win no matter what, because we're gonna show the, you know, what PKB is all about. Like,
right. You seem to have a little bit of a passion there for
Uh,
teaching, and you even use the word preaching, right? So, what is your philosophy for the type of lessons that you give and the messages that you give to your students? Where do you get that philosophy from?
um, from my past coaches, just life and trials. Uh, Sean House, James De Leon, they all taught me to be close, to always motivate, inspire, and influence people, no matter what. Even you just walking around or doing something, people are looking at you, so you're influencing the way. So the one thing I preach is walk and train like if your son or a daughter are looking at you, or someone that looks up to you, and how you their future. And just my philosophy is be kind, train hard, and great things will come. Yeah.
Right, right. Were you always this way, Ignacio, or were you? Did you have some times when you were a teenager and you had some trials and tribulations and things you had to go through, like all of
Yeah.
us, right? Tell me about that teenager.
Stubborn, hard headed, didn't like to listen. One thing I did do as a young man, even though I was destructive, I always protected the what I not so weak, but the people who didn't like
Mm.
competitions. You know what I mean? So I was always bad, but I was always getting into fights defending people.
You were a great defender.
I walk into the room and I look at the biggest bully. I mean, the biggest guy, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to go over there and talk to that guy.
That is funny. We have a little choppy in your Wi-Fi though right now, but we can hear what you're saying. It's just on the visual a little bit. It's a little bit choppy. But that's okay. We're going to go ahead and finish things up as well. What is your advice to young folk today when it comes to peer pressure?
Listen to your heart. One of the biggest things, God gave us the power to think for ourselves and to know the right from wrong. A baby knows the right from wrong. Everyone knows from right from wrong. It's that back of that. It's that thought in your head that influence that bad decision to happen. So just defeat it by kicking it to the curb and just keep doing what you're gonna do, even if it's hard, even if it's you're struggling. Just keep going through it. You're eventually. What I've learned is, at the end of that tunnel, there's gonna be light, and I'm very happy I stuck to going towards that light because I'm happy. It's just coming at them from up top, and you know, staying away from peer pressure it's you're forming your own identity. Don't
Well,
But don't let anyone else tell you what to do, or just because they think it's cool. There's other people. There's plenty of friends. Just like there are fish in the sea, there's plenty of friends and fish in the sea. You know? So
right, right. That's a good comment. You mentioned the word about what makes you happy. You said that you are happy. Tell me what makes you happy on a daily basis. When you wake up in the morning, what makes you happy about this society, about just being on the earth?
and it's what makes me happy is still having seeing people still have kindness in their hearts, even though we're living at times where that the people kind of dismiss that just because they don't want to go through it. They don't want to go through rejection. Rejection sucks. But yeah, just that waking up in the morning and seeing there's still good out there. So that gives me a drive to continue to be who I am, even though the trials and errors sometimes don't go my way. That doesn't mean shy away from being good. And so I like it. I love waking up in the
Right.
morning and seeing people smile.
So, in your connection with the Muay Thai and kickboxing community, tell me a little bit about how you got started in this game and what inspired you to get started in this game. I mean, well? Clearly, you told you couldn't have been bullied because you were the guy that maybe not that you were bullying people.
You'll be surprised. I was bullied in a different way. I was
Oh,
I was 400 pounds in high school. Um,
oh,
People call me names and stuff like that. So that motivated me to just lose weight. All I remember is I graduated from high school. I came back one summer from Arizona, and boom, I lost 100 pounds. And then from there, I joined my first kickboxing gym.
Well, hold on, Ignacio. Ignacio, hold on for a second. It's not boom. All of a sudden, I lost 100 pounds. There's there's got to be a lot more in the BOOM. You just can't say boom. I lost 100 pounds. How did you lose 100 pounds, Ignacio?
I had a lot of help from my family in Arizona. There were a lot of soccer players. They pushed me to go outside, to go do stuff. Because of the environment that I grew up before I moved to North California, I didn't go outside because I lived in Compton, California, which there were shootings every go out and get bullied. So by going out there, they pushed me to play sports and not play sports, but go out and exercise. Don't be afraid to go out. So that inspired me, and I came back and I ran every day. I pushed myself. I watched my. It was a big inspiration. Yes, sir.
Well, you know what? Listen, I mean, it's a good thing. There's no doubt about it to be inspired by something. What are your aspirations for now being a new PKB promoter and putting on some events there in your area? Was it Sacramento, Stockton area?
Man, there's so much talent. I wanna bring that talent out. Unfortunately, there's a lot of trials in there. Just like the movie Bruised, a lot of fighters go through so many hardships that they're talented, but they can't get fight because the trials and errors, maybe parents, maybe money. So that brings a huge shine into fighters that go through struggles and say, you hear those people like, man, that guy could have made it. That guy a world champion, but he didn't make it because of this and that. And fortunately, it's the environment we all grew up in. Some people were grew up in a good environment, some people didn't. And some habits stick, and some habits don't. So,
did you see the movie?
I watched the movie.
Okay, so I mean, so you tell me your thoughts on that really quickly.
Like I said, it shines a light on fighters who struggle in the inside and outside, and it's hard to take the outside, take away the outside when you're going to train or when you're going to a fight, because it sticks to you. Because even still going back to that life, that life that you live. So it's hard, and I do agree. And people, fighters just have to find it inside them and let that be their drive. Ignore everything, ignore the naysayers, and just keep going.
Right. Well, certainly, I think it was a very inspiring movie. I just wanted to, bring you up for a few minutes here to introduce you and your club and who you are. Ryan has a lot of nice things to say about you. He seemed like a really nice guy, and I know that you guys are going to build something really special out there and doing the events. I can tell because of the way you are, the kind of heart that you have, the passion that you have, and your personality just seems really, really good. That's what we're looking for. That's what we want in the ICAP PKB. We want nice, good. You and I had that conversation on the phone. I told you. That's what we're looking for. We're genuine in who we are and what we're trying to do. We're not trying to play the games, not trying to compete against people and all of that. We just want good people on. And I think you're one of those good people. What would you like to say in closing?
We'll repeat that again.
What would you like to say in closing?
Thank you for having me on the show, and for PKB tournaments all over the country. It's growing, and your fighters will be skillful. Just throw them in there, guys. Trust the process.
You heard it right there, ladies and gentlemen, from Ignacio Zambrano himself. So listen, I will be chatting with you a little bit later on, and we're going to get that Wi-Fi even straightened out so we can chat a little bit longer. Okay, sir?
Sir.
Thanks so much, man. Have a good one. Ignacio, there he is, the man with the plan, guys. Really nice guy there. He's one of our new promoters with the ICAP PKB there in Sacramento, California. Really nice guy. I think he's going to do some great things over there. I know Ryan has a lot of hope for him. Our next guest is coming up here. We have the one and the only. We're going to go ahead and bring him up. He's been waiting there for a minute. He's sitting in his car. So I hope his Wi-Fi is a little bit better. Let's see. How you doing, Nelson?
I can barely hear you. Been trying to work out some sound issues. I can barely hear you. Sound like you're whispering.
Oh, I'm not whispering. I'm so loud, it's not even funny. You might want to try to put the volume up.
I got my volume all the way up and still can't hear you.
Ooh, I don't know why. So you can hear me a little bit, right?
I'm reading your lips more than anything.
Hey, just another skill there from Nelson Lebron, guys. He's the man with the plan, right? So he's reading my lips. Isn't that amazing? Hey, this guy must be a secret agent or something like that. I don't know what's going on.
I'm hoping
there.
the sound situation works itself out.
Right. So can you hear me enough?
Gosh,
Okay, now say what?
can't hear a thing.
Are you driving?
Am I driving? Yes.
That's part of the problem.
Yes, I'm driving.
Can you get to a point and stop?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull over somewhere I could read your lips a little bit better.
Yeah, well, I want you to read my lips. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off this transmission, then we're gonna come back on for another show, okay? All right. So we're gonna what we'll do, guys. We're gonna bring Nelson back up in just a minute once he gets a little bit more settled there. Sometimes just have these audios. Mahmoud, how you doing, sir? That's Muhammad Dajab there on one of my good friends over there. He's on a little vacation right now, long vacation. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you over there. Hopefully we'll talk to you really soon. And we're gonna bring up Mr. Nelson LeBron back up here. Okay, let's see. Can we bring him back up? He said he's stationary. Let's see what happens. You know how it is when you're live, guys. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. Let's see what's happening. But he's got to be able to hear me, because he can't hear me. It doesn't go anywhere. Let's see.
My sound is no good.
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me now?
I can barely hear you. I'm reading your lips.
Okay. Well, that's not going to work. That's not going to work if you only reading my lips, because you're going to be really good if you do
I'm pretty good at it. I'm pretty good at it.
Okay. Well, let's give it a try there. This is a new one for Johnny Davis Live. All right. So, Nelson, where are you now, man?
I'm in the parking lot of Pembroke Shopping Center.
Okay, and that's in Virginia?
Yeah, in Virginia Beach.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, listen. Can you quickly tell us a little bit about your club and everything over there in Norfolk, Virginia, or Virginia Beach?
Okay. Well, I'm at the UFC gym in Norfolk, Virginia Beach. It's a MMA gym. The gym is pretty decently sized. We've got about 700 members. We teach boxing.
700.
Yeah, 700 members. We teach boxing, kickboxing, traditional martial arts, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and we teach striking for MMA, and we teach MMA geared classes. And then we also do these things called daily ultimate training, which is kind of like CrossFit, but it's our own spin. Okay. It's more geared towards MMA fighters and stuff like that, and the combat fighters for boxers and stuff like that. And we got a full weight room, and we do weightlifting classes and nutritional training, personal training of all sorts.
Wow, man, that's a lot going on over there. I know you always come pretty heavy when you show up at our PKB events, but a lot of that is because you're pretty passionate about what you do as well. As I was talking to Ignacio, let's go back a little bit, back how you got started in the martial arts. Let's just go from that route. And tell me a little bit about what was your inspiration. Now, I'm going to say this, Nelson, and I'm going to get in trouble probably for saying this to you. But Nelson, as you probably figured out in your life, you're not all that tall.
Yes, I figured out his life.
Right, but you're not that tall, right?
No,
not that tall.
I'm 5'1", and I started fighting as an adult at 113 pounds, so I would fight at 119 or 125 to get fights.
So when you were small, were you bullied?
Say that one more time, Johnny.
Were you bullied?
Was I bullied? Actually, no. I grew up in the South Bronx, dirt poor. And I was born in 75. So my childhood, I started training in 1980 when I was 5. I started
Right.
taekwondo and boxing at that age. And
Hey,
I was always
Nelson,
the smallest
Nelson.
guy in the group, but when you're dirt poor, you grow up scrapping. So I was that kid in school with 2 different type of shoes, a Superman shirt with a hole in it, underoos. Gotta love underoos. And once you get tested once, you just beat them up early, and nobody messes with you then again.
So you had a little attitude with your size.
Say that one more time. What's my?
So you had a little attitude with your
Yes, I had a
size.
lot of attitude. I'm like that hungry honey badger or Wolverine, you know.
No, that's good. So that attitude probably helped you out a lot in your fighting, right?
Yes, I was actually the nerdy kid who learned how to fight. I was ridiculously book
Oh,
smart, you know.
oh,
I wore thick glasses when I was a kid, and
okay.
when I was 8 years old, true story. When I was 8 years old, they could ask my mother and see my medical record. My nerves, I guess, behind my eyes were lazy. So I was climbing a tree with a bunch of the kids in the projects, and I fell out the tree and hit several tree branches with my head. My brain swelled,
Oh,
and they put patches over my eyes, and I had to stay a few nights in the hospital. And I think after my 3rd week in the hospital, I was like, after the swelling had reduced, I was like, Mom, I can see. And the doctors were all looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, Mom, I'm serious. I can see. So they took me to do an eye chart, and I had to read it out, and I could read the bottom lines on the chart. To this day, I could read the bottom lines
wow.
of the chart. So what happened was when the brain swelled, it pushed the nerves and everything where it's supposed to go. And since then, I see more than 20/20.
More than
Yep, I see
2020.
more than 20/20. I could read the bottom line on the
So
charts.
wait a minute. So you're saying that, so if I'm around you, I need to be careful what kind of clothes I have on. I want to have one of the, you got some X-ray vision going
Yeah,
on there,
I
huh,
got some X-ray
Nelson?
vision going on.
Right. The ladies, be careful, right? Now when you're around Nelson, he might be able to see all the way through. So listen. So when you were fighting in your career, right? You had a lot of wins, a lot more wins than you did losses. Of course, we've all lost, right? But tell me about when you did lose. What did you learn most?
What did I do most?
What did you learn most when you lost?
Oh, what did I learn most when I lost? Um, Actually, believe it or not, Johnny, in 190, 36 and 6 matches, I've only been stopped 1 time. The only
Whoa.
the only time I got stopped, I was fighting for a WKA US title in Muay Thai. And I went in there showboating. I went in there a little cocky. I was in my young 20s. I had my girlfriend in the stands, and I was pitching a shutout. I fought a gentleman named by Jose Villarasco. My boxing and my kickboxing was so good that I was piecing him up. And then I decided to shortboat. I thought I was Roy Jones, and I ate a knee to my solar plexus and got
Ooh.
dropped like a bad habit. And I made sounds like a
Oh.
baby killer whale trying to get up, but I couldn't get up. Had I gotten up, I would have won the fight, but I couldn't get up. This guy hit me with a knee that I tasted for days. So I learned never to showboat again. After that, I was quiet. I never talked again before a match. They could talk trash to me or whatever. I stood quiet and I had my focus. I was like, I'm going to do my talking in the ring. So I started coming in there, and I loved a lot of the old school greats. I started coming in there with the attitude of like old marvelous Marvin Hagler, or Mike Tyson when he was in his prime. Just quiet. Let's get in there and do the work. Nothing flashy, no flashy clothes. Whether it was boxing or kickboxing, no bright colors. Everything black. Maybe the Puerto Rican flag on me, but that's about it.
Right.
I just fought
Right.
a war, and then I got in there with that mindset of Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano wasn't the best guy in the ring as far as technical, but he would punch your forearms, he would punch your shoulders,
Right.
punch your neck. And I was like,
Right.
man, everybody's a foot taller than me, so I'm going to hit him where I can hit him. And that's how I pretty much won a lot of my fights. I just told myself I was going to be the hardest worker in that ring. If they threw 200 punches, I was going to throw 300. If they threw 300, I was going to throw 400. And that's pretty much how I went the whole career. I punched and punched and punched and punched and threw kicks at the end of my punches. Because if I try to kick and fight like the conventional kickboxers, most people's arms were longer than my legs. So I'd still get punched in the head.
Yeah, yeah. Right. So what you learned, you actually, from that loss, it made you a better fighter.
Yep.
100%.
So I became more of that guy that, and then I started really having fun in there. And then in 1999, I don't know if you were aware of this, while I was on deployment in Kosovo, I lost my fiance and twins to a drunk driver. So after 1999, I started carrying my demons into the ring. So it was my outlet, you know. I was in the military, so I was like, you know, I can't lash out at people at work. Nobody's at fault for what happened to me, but I still had them emotions and that anger. And I just used those as my purpose and my trigger and my fire in that ring.
So while you were in the military,
yes,
you lost your family.
Yep, I lost a fiance and twins. And she was my salvation. She was a different girl. I was that slick mouth Puerto Rican from the Bronx. And she was a Georgia peach, looked like old school Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, you know, was 5'10" and a half. I remember every time I went out with her, people would be like, Nelson, how in the world did you score that girl? I was like, I don't know. She loves me, whatever it is, you know? So I was her, people used to call me her pocket ninja. They said she carried a ninja in her pocket.
Right. Well, what was your, that sounds like a really, really, really tough thing to go through. What was your motivation to pull through that?
My motivation in martial arts, Johnny, I have three motivations.
No. Your motivation to pull through that very, very tragic period in your life.
My motivation, I never wanted to let my parents down, you know? Believe it or not, I watched my dad work 5 and 6 jobs to provide for us when we were poor. He's to this day, he's still with my mom. You know, he's always been a hard worker. He was a Marine during Vietnam, you know, and I figured that every action I did, whether it was good or bad, reflected on him. And, you know, no matter what I did, I always wanted to make him proud. And it was just that, you know, I was like, do I self-destruct and self-pity, or do I try to shine for what my fiance and my twins stood for, and for what my dad and my mom stood for? You know, they worked too hard for me to self-destruct. And then, you know, I wasn't new to tragedy, you know. When I was in the 4th grade, I went to a Catholic school called St. John's Chrysostom. I got kidnapped. True story. I got kidnapped in the Bronx. I escaped. And when I escaped, they called the police. It had been like a day later or something like that. And NYPD told my parents I had an overactive imagination. And from 4th grade to maybe 8th grade till I transferred to high school, people made fun of me. They'd always be like, there's the kid that lied and said he got kidnapped because he ran away. I had no reason to run away. Wow. But from that moment on, my dad knew that there was something different, because I told him I wanted to become one of the most dangerous men on the planet. And I would go to martial arts training 2 and 3 hours every afternoon after school. I get my homework done during the last period of school just so I could be there training in martial arts. And like I said, it just became part of me. I started understanding at an early age that tough times don't last, but tough people do. So I made that my goal, you know? I had to endure.
110. Right, and enduring is what you've done a great job at it, and your philosophies are really, really strong. Today, though, I do notice that you have seems like someone special in your life. There, you have a young lady there that I keep seeing popping up on your Facebook page. I don't know if there's more than one of them, but I see the young lady right here with you with the toboggan on your head. Who's that young lady?
Yeah, she was a surprise. So Addie's mom and I never dated. After everything I had been through, I wasn't emotionally ready to date, you know. But every now and then I needed a friend, somebody to hang out with, and things happen. And Addie was a surprise. And when they told me I could be the father of this little girl, I said, let's go get the DNA test. And as soon as I found out, I went and met her. After a year of me being in her life, I told her mom. Her mom is younger. Her mom's like 29, 30. I'm already set in my ways. I'm retired from the military. I was like, hey, let me get custody of her. You go live your life, do your thing, get your career going. I was like, I'm already retired from the military and I work at the gym. I have more available time to spend with her. Let me get her. And we agreed, and I've been raising Addie since, and it's been a great transformation from her. She's grown in confidence, she's grown in strength, and she enjoys martial arts.
How important is she to you, though?
Yes.
How important is she to you and what you do on a day-to-day?
She loves me to death. I'm her hero in a lot of ways.
And you love her.
Yeah, she's the best part of my life.
Right. Okay. That's a really, really good thing, and good to have that kind of motivation. Well, you've been coming out to some of the PKB tournaments, and tell me a little bit about your experience at those events.
Say that one more time, Johnny. I missed the lip movement, so I got to reread it.
Right. I said you've been coming out to the PKB tournaments lately. Tell me a little bit about your experience at those events.
Oh, I've loved those events. I think the best part about those events is I can see my students understanding everything I tell them about in the gym, and they see why I'm so hard on them as far as working hard. I always tell them they don't have to be the best, but be the hardest worker in the room, and your work will show you the fruits of your labor, and
right.
I've had a couple of them that haven't come back with the victory, but they came back with the knowledge of, coach, you were right, man. I needed more cardio for that fight, or I wasn't busy enough. My nerves did affect me, because I always tell them that the nerves is probably the hardest part of any fight. At least it was for me, overcoming those nerves. Right. And second would be the cardio. And then the technique is probably the last thing to fall into play. And it's just been awesome. And then the love from all the teams, and running into somebody like Anthony Bowie, who I fought a war with at the Arnold Classic, it's been a dynamic experience.
Right, good. Well, we're definitely looking forward to having some events over there in Virginia. I think we have a date set already, right? It is
July 16th.
July the 16th, one day after my birthday. So we're calling a birthday weekend for
So we're gonna throw you a big old party when you come in.
Yeah, so definitely looking forward to having that. Nelson, finally, as we close out, did you see the movie Bruised?
Say that one more time, sir.
Did you see the movie Bruised?
I didn't catch that.
Did you see the movie Bruised with Halle Berry?
No, I have not seen the movie yet. I heard she fights Valentina in it.
Yeah,
I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, she does. But let me ask you a question about, and before we close out, about the dark side of fighting. As a fighter, have you experienced the dark side of fighting?
Yes, I have. I've seen a lot of dark sides to fighting. When I was stationed in Okinawa, a lot of the fights in Okinawa, Japan, and in Yokosuka, Japan, and in Osaka, Japan, were run by the Yakuza or by mob elements. So I've seen promoters take money to have their fighters take a fall. I've seen guys put a guy who's maybe 54 kilos against somebody who's 65 kilos, so 125 pounder fighting a 155 pounder, and I've seen a lot of messed up stuff or bad judging.
Well, but what about the dark side inside the fighter?
My dark side has always been pretty channeled. One thing I could be thankful for the military, and after 9 combat tour, I could turn it on and off like a switch. I can go dark to the point to where I win, but not to where I get lost in myself, if that makes sense.
Right. Sure. It makes a lot of sense. Nelson LeBron, I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you were on the road and everything, but I want to thank you for coming on the show today and really good information and everything. And we'll be talking to you again real soon. Okay, brother?
Sounds good, sir. I'm glad I learned how to read lips in the military.
I know, right? You did a good job. You did a real good job. All right, Nelson. Talk to you
All
later,
right,
brother.
sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, bye
Bye.
bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now speaking there with Mr. Nelson LeBron, he was having some issues with the volume, so he was reading my lips through the entire interview. That's pretty fascinating, actually. I think that's it. He probably learned that in the military. This guy, he's really impressive as well. We have just brought on quite a few impressive people to the ICAP PKB organization, and that's actually what we're looking for. We're looking for good people with good, strong insides, right? People who've gone through some things, but who are willing to go the next step and go to the next level, exactly where we are trying to take the sport of Muay Thai and kickboxing. And we'll certainly be chatting again with them throughout the time that we're on the air. Somebody says here, they're all the way from, where are they? Somewhere in England, I believe. They said Nelson LeBron reminds me of Roberto Duran. Yes, he does! He does! I've never said that to him, but he does. He reminds me also of Roberto Duran, the great boxer, hands of stone. Exactly right. Walk on, always believe, whatever your real name is. That was a great observation, a really good observation. And I'm sure Nelson's going to trip on that. The fact that somebody said he looked like the great, who did he say? Roberto Duran. Rest in peace to Roberto Duran. All right, guys. So now I want to take a few moments and I want to talk a little bit about the movie Bruised. There was a lot of conversation going on about that movie. And, I just don't quite understand where everybody was with it. So I'm going to take a moment just to give you my thoughts and my ideas about it. But I want to see, can I pull up, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this fast enough, but I want to see, can I also pull up the information on what people were saying. There were a lot of comments about what people were saying, as I can figure out my phone here. Okay, yeah, good. About what they were saying on Facebook. And I want to just read some of that because I want to have this conversation because I know that a lot of people, in my opinion, don't completely understand fighting. They just don't, right? As a professional fighter, as someone who spent many years as a fighter, I am telling you right now that she did a good job in portraying that dark side. There's a dark side that every fighter has, right? And I just want to get to this little piece on my phone here, guys. Excuse me for kind of pausing here, but I want to get to that little piece so I can show you some of the comments. Okay, I got them right here. Okay, so what I did was on the other day, I kind of made a comment, right? I said, hey, I like the challenge. Hold on, let me go to the actual original post where I wrote. I said I was being a movie critic, right? I said, on Halle Berry's Netflix. I said, I enjoyed it. I love Halle Berry, but I think she was correct as a director in getting the emotions of a fighter correct. I said, well done, right? And then I said, now Halle needs to, contact me to be on Johnny Davis Live. Right, so we can talk about it. Okay, so I was just kind of messing around there. I'm sure she's not going to contact me, right, her agent. But it created a firestorm of emotions and comments that came back. And I was kind of surprised about the negativity of it, right? So now Kelly Frank, nice lady here. I just want to read a little bit about what she said, right? You can tell me, feel free to put your comments on the side there. I would love to see them. She said, I'm sorry, but this movie was not good, LOL. I personally did not feel it represented a female fighter accurately. The way she handled situations that she faced were weird. She said, I do believe the struggles were dead on and many can relate, but walking around beat up looking all the time, not being very vocal or giving much story to the prior of her career, I believe was not good. Okay, so I want to dive. If you have your radio on there, Ignacio, or somebody in the background there have your radio or something on, I think I'm hearing a background noise. But I want to talk about that. She said, walking around bruised like that is not something that happens. Okay, So I want to explain to you what that meant. The reason why she was probably walking around bruised was to try to illustrate to you that outside of the physical bruising that a fighter has, there's internal bruises that they carry for many, many times. No, not only in her fighting career, she also had bruises from, you know, some sexual issues that happened to her when she was young, that her mom was letting men go in the room and do things to her. She had those, right? So she had a lot of other mental health issues, bruised on the inside. And I think that's what people miss, that she wasn't talking so much about that, yeah, I got a black eye and I'm cut up, my lips are cut. She was talking about being bruised from life and the battles of life, right? And fighting will certainly do that. So in fighting, what you have to understand is that it's very tough physically, but it's also very tough psychologically. You're always thinking about, you know, working out, trying to be your very best. You're thinking about, you know, the opponent. You're thinking about, what if I don't reach my goals in life? What if I go out and I lose? Psychologically, you're bruised because you're constantly beating yourself up and trying to get better and work harder all the time. So she nailed it. I don't understand. I've seen people talking about, oh no, it was terrible. Oh, the fight scenes were terrible. What are you thinking? She's not a professional fighter. Of course, she's not going to go there and look like a professional fighter. So that part, okay, I get it. I can take a little bit of that. It was very much staged. Of course, it's a movie. However, psychologically, I believe she nailed it because, again, as a fighter, I had all of those emotions before, right? And I've gone deep into the dark world. David Barber, also, who agreed with this idea of the bruise concept of a fighter, because he's also was a world champion fighter. You go through dark times, especially as a kickboxer, not enough money. Right, wishing there was more money, wishing that we could reach the $1 million purses and more recognition and all of those things. The movie was a very, very good movie, guys, and stuff like that. So the bottom line is that you need to take another look at it if you want to get the real point of her story. And that the bruise part, we are not talking about just physical. We are talking about bruise on the inside as well, and the different things that one has to go through, right? To, you know, I hate this lock on my phone. It just keeps locking too much, right? Listen, another concept, somebody said, Aaron Israel came up and said, sorry, not sorry, right? He said, sorry, not sorry. He did not like the movie at all. Just not really sure why. Again, he is a fighter. There's a lot to like about the movie and everything if you just take another look at it. So anyway, guys, listen, I can't read all the comments. My phone is kind of whatever. I just want to kind of give another perspective on it, that the difficulties of fighting, how difficult it is. And listen, you know, if you've never been a fighter, it might be hard. Halle Berry did a good job. But Haley, I always say her name. My wife always tells me, boy, you said her name wrong. Right? It's like Haley Berry. I got to get it right. But anyway, she knows what I'm talking about, right? All I'm saying, guys, mental health is also a big issue in the fight game. There's a lot of things that are going on. Take another look at it. Just take another look. It's a great movie. That's my 2 cents, though, right? I'm sure you'll have your opinions. Be sure. We also see someone wrote again, walk on, always believe. I like the saying. I guess what you're saying. He says, sadly, there's a lot of judgment in the world. And I think Haley did very well, especially the fact that she's not a martial artist. Thank you. She is not a martial artist. She's an actress, right? But I think it was quite realistic, kind of like a documentary of realism. Let me tell you something, brother, sister, whoever you are, walk on, always believe. You are absolutely right. Right? I believe you nailed it. That is the truth. And I think that, again, if people take another look at it, I think she's going to get a lot of awards. When I looked at that movie, I'm going to close out here, but when I looked at that movie, what I said was Oscar. She is going to win an Oscar. I'm telling you right now, she's going to win an Oscar. When people take a closer look at that movie and they look at the not only her but the little boy. The little boy goes through the not to try to give it away. He goes through the whole movie without saying only maybe 3 words at the end, right? That takes a lot, right? Did a great job. There was a lot of great moments in this movie that I thoroughly enjoyed. In fact, I watched it twice. I watched it twice because I wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy, right? And I liked it even better the second time, right? So I encourage you guys, you fighters out there, get off the technique. She's not a fighter, she's an actress. But go and sit down for a minute and really focus on what she is trying to tell you in the message, right? About a fighter, many fighters and their lives is dark. And we are bruised. I am bruised today. They've healed a little bit, but I'm bruised today beyond physical, right? I'm disappointed even as a bruise that there's not more money in the sport, right? So that's why I work so hard in what I do to try to get more money pumped into the sport. That's a bruising. That's a bruising that's motivated me, right, to try to do what I do today and do it to the best of my ability. So just because you are walking around bruised and injured, whether it's back in the fight days or before then, it doesn't mean that you can't change that today. It doesn't mean that you can't be motivated by your bruising to do better, to be your very best, to be productive, and to be successful, and to reach all of your goals that you want to reach. We all are bruised. We all fall short. But I'm telling you right now, take the bruising, the lessons in the bruising, right? And then make yourself better and forward march. All right, guys, that's my 2 cents on the movie. I had to give it to you because I just saw so many people beating up that movie, and I just couldn't take it anymore. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. Listen, I want you guys to go ahead and get registered for the IKF Georgia Classic coming up January 14th through the 16th in Columbus, Georgia at the Columbus Convention Center. It's going to be a fantastic event. I hope that you will certainly be a part of that event coming up, guys. It's going to be good. If you have fighters that want to get in some good knockout action, right, come to the IKF Georgia Classic in January and you will not regret it. Remember, we also have the IKF PKB that morning, so it's going to be a double header weekend, and it's Martin Luther King weekend. It is Martin Luther King weekend, so you have a lot going on there. You have 3 days to absolutely do maybe nothing. I would just say nothing, right? But for sure, right, you should try to come to the Georgia Classic and go ahead right now and get registered. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. I want to thank you again for watching yet another edition of Johnny Davis Live. I want to thank my guest, Ignacio Zambrano, and Mr. Nelson Lebron for being on today. Great chatting with them as well. All right, guys, always a forward march. This is Johnny Davis Live, and I'm checking out. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. See, there you go. Let's go.